If you've tried my Marry Me Chicken recipe, then I know you're going to love my creamy Marry Me Chicken meatballs and garlic parm mashed potatoes. Let's get to cooking. All right, to this large size bowl, because we are going to be rocking out with the balls. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be using 2 pounds of ground chicken. Now, here's the thing. Chicken has a tendency to go dry once you start to fry it, cook it, air fry it, pop it in the oven. Doesn't matter. I'll show you a couple tricks and tips on how to keep that meat nice and moist. All right. First thing we want to do is we are going to put our gloves on because I don't want the chicken all in my nails. You know what I'm saying? All right. First thing we want to do is we want to add an egg. Well, actually 2 eggs. We're going to be adding 2 large eggs. Make sure this egg stays in place. Make sure there's no shells inside of your bowl because that would not be good. We're going to add some finely chopped garlic. Add minced garlic, garlic paste. And if you don't have either or, add some garlic powder. It's going to work out perfectly fine. We're going to add some salt and ground black pepper. All right, 2 pounds of meat. So let's season properly. Let's add some breadcrumbs. These are panko breadcrumbs. Going to add some all-purpose chicken seasoning to step the flavors up. This is not salty, so don't worry. Even though it seems like I'm adding a lot, it really isn't. We're going to add some Italian seasoning for herbaceous flair. Let's add some smoked paprika, along with our garlic powder. Make sure it's garlic and not onion. Add some onion powder. Along with our mayo. Where are you going with the mayo, miss? Add the mayo to the ground chicken and it's going to create moisture. The other thing is this, right? If you don't care for mayo, but you are a ricotta lover, you can add some ricotta. Add some ricotta to the mix and you'll be perfectly fine. We're going to add about 4 tablespoons of mayo simply because we're working with 2 pounds of ground chicken. The mayo is going to soften things up, okay? Trust me when I tell you. It's going to really soften it up. Let's add some freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Compliments to hubby for the fine grating. And we're going to go in there and we're just going to mix it on up. We're going to fold all of the ingredients into the ground meat and we're not going to overmix it. Overmixing is going to be a problem. You're going to end up with your meatballs just, you know, it's going to have a funny texture once it's cooked. All right, we want to make sure our measurements are on point simply because we don't want it to be too bready. If the meatballs are obviously they're not holding together, even though you've added the breadcrumbs and the Parmesan cheese, then you can possibly add a small amount of breadcrumbs. But if you over add the breadcrumbs, you're not going to taste the chicken. It's just going to be really dry. And that's not cool. All right, so I'm just still folding. Let's get those seasonings incorporated. Once we're done, we have our mold. We're going to put it to the side for about 5 minutes because I want the breadcrumbs to soak up all of the moisture within the meat, believe it or not. All right, this is going to turn out perfect. I'm going to be using my large size skillet to fry our meatballs. Now, here's the thing. When it comes down to rolling the meatballs, they may stick to your hand a little bit. So just add some oil. All right, we're going to take a small... Depending on the size. I think this size right here is perfect. Just gonna roll and form the meatballs into a nice little circular shape. And that's it. Once the oil gets nice and hot, we're gonna place it in the pan. And the goal is for us to brown our meatballs. We don't have to cook it all the way through just yet because we are gonna be cooking it in a sauce later. And if they're not all the same size, that's all right. Once they're edible, that's all that matters. If you look at it, you can see that we've added the perfect ratio of ingredients because everything is holding together. It's not breaking apart. It's not too sticky. So make sure you follow this recipe in its entirety if you want your chicken meatballs to come out perfectly. We're going to brown the meatballs for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side and then flip it over and allow it to brown on the other side as well. The meatballs has the perfect golden brown color going on. I'm allowing it to cook on the other side. And once we are finished, I'm going to set them aside on a plate. Now, here's the thing, right? If your pan is not large enough to fit all of the meatballs, no worries. Just sear it up or fry it up in batches. I didn't add too much oil because a lot of oil is not necessary. If the meatballs stick to the bottom of the pan a little bit, that's totally okay. That's because we added Parmesan cheese. But it shouldn't be too serious. I'm gonna turn the stove down so I maintain control. Pan is a little dry, so we're just gonna reintroduce a small amount more of oil before we add our butter. All right, we're gonna allow the butter to break down, or should I say melt in this case. Let's add some finely chopped garlic. All right, we're gonna cook our garlic on low heat because we don't want to burn the garlic. All right, we just want to release all of the aromatic flavors. After about 10 to 20 seconds of toasting, since the pan is extremely hot, we are ready to go. Let's add our sun-dried tomatoes. If you've never tried sun-dried tomatoes, you are definitely missing out. They taste delicious in any cream sauce or within any pasta dish. Let's add some dried thyme. Add a good amount of thyme. Stir that on up as well. Let's add some tomato paste. We're gonna cook the tomato paste until it becomes nice and sweet. Check out that nice, beautiful red tone or red color. This is gorgeous. Let's introduce some chicken broth. Alrighty. If you don't have chicken broth, no need to worry. Just get some bouillon and water and add that as your substitute for chicken broth. Gonna give it a quick stir. Make sure everything is perfectly combined. Let's add our heavy cream. If you want to add half and half, you definitely can, because we're going to be adding Parmesan cheese, and the Parmesan cheese is going to help to thicken up the sauce. Stir it on up. Be careful. Just like that, and we are almost finished. All right, the bottom of your pan should start to feel nice and smooth. Let's add some Italian seasoning. All right, add a good amount. Let's add some smoked paprika. And let's add some pepper flakes, or should I say chili flakes, all right? However you refer to it, let's add a little spice. We're gonna go on with our Parmesan cheese. Oh, this is beautiful. If you want to swap your spatula for a whisk, you could definitely use that, because the whisk is gonna help to break up all of the cheeses at the bottom. All right, this is good. Stir that on up into the cream sauce. Take your time. It's really important that when you're adding the cheese, the milk or the cream is not too hot, because what's going to happen is you're going to end up with cheese separation, and the cheese is just going to be a clumpy mess. So you need to take your time, add it before the milk becomes extremely hot, so it could slowly incorporate itself. The cheese is going to help the sauce to thicken up, which is perfect. But in the meanwhile, let's add our spinach. All right, make sure you wash your spinach really, really well. If you want to add frozen spinach, make sure you rinse that off as well. But most importantly, squeeze it on out before you add it to your whatever it is that you're making, because that spinach, it retains a lot of water. It holds so much water. And if you're trying to get a nice creamy, decadent sauce, what you're going to end up with is a watery sauce. That's not cool. All right, we're going to cook this spinach until it becomes wilted. The sauce is nice and creamy, so we're going to add the chicken back to the pan. All right, let's get those meatballs in there. Check this on out for a second. Look at how moist and bouncy. Ooh, that's going to be good. It has that perfect hydraulic bounce back, all right? That's exactly what we need. All right, we're going to add them to our beautiful Marry Me chicken sauce, as you see I'm doing. And we're going to allow the meatballs to, if there's any raw meat mixed in between, at this point in time, the meatballs will be fully cooked. Also, the sauce is going to help the meatballs to soften up even more, which is a great thing. Resting juices goes in. And we're just going to help to push the meatballs down to the bottom of the pan and allow the sauce to submerge. We're going to allow the meatballs to cook for about 10 minutes, and we want the sauce to thicken up even more. And once the sauce starts to coat the meatball and stick to the meatball, you know exactly what I'm talking about, then we're going to go ahead and turn the stovetop off. We're going to halve our potatoes. We're going to halve it again. And we're going to place it into the boiling water for about 18 to 20 minutes, or until the potatoes are fully cooked. Water is nice and hot. We want our potatoes to have some flavor, so we're going to add a good amount of salt. We're gonna cook our potatoes for about 18 to 20 minutes or until they're fork tender. Gonna drain our potatoes. I love working with yellow potatoes because no matter how long you boil them, they always remain intact. As you can see, we just went ahead and strained the potatoes. They're still nice and hot. So during this time, I like to add all of my ingredients that needs to be melted throughout the potatoes, of course. I don't heat the milk up, so I prefer to just add all of the ingredients that needs to be melted while the potatoes are still hot. I went ahead and added some whipped cream cheese. We're also gonna add a few dollops of sour cream. All right, salt and ground black pepper. Start off with adding a small amount because you could always go back and add additional if necessary. Let's add some garlic powder. Not too much, but we want to, have that nice garlicky flavor, but we don't want to overdo it. And I'm going to go ahead and take my potato masher and break it down. Alrighty. Gonna take the back of the spatula and incorporate the other stuff. Just make sure everything is mixed in properly. Alrighty, let's add some heavy cream. Start off with adding a small amount of milk. You don't want to add too much. Sometimes I know we could get carried away with adding the milk, and by the time we finish, everything is so, it's just it's almost like potato soup. All right, this is perfect. Give it a quick taste. Make sure everything is good. Add some additional seasonings if necessary. And if not, we have about a 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup of finely grated Parmesan cheese. And we are going to add some of this delicious fresh Parmesan cheese to our potatoes. Adding the Parmesan cheese makes the ultimate difference. Man, listen, if you don't want to add the Parmesan cheese, man, I don't know what to tell you. Give it a final taste. Make sure you don't need to add any additional seasonings. Let's plate some mashed potatoes. This is beautiful. I'm gonna create like a little well in the middle. Goodness, that's nice. That is beautiful. Some sun-dried tomatoes. Going with a little parsley. And that's it. This is gorgeous. Dinner is served. Our Marry Me Chicken Meatballs have cooled down. That's the only reason why I'm touching it, all right? And I want to break it so you can see what it looks like in the middle. Perfectly cooked, soft and tender, and it just feels nice and moist. For our taste test, get some spinach. If you're looking for a knockout punch of flavors, this is definitely it. Woo! This is delicious with a capital D ending with a capital S, okay? Fully, man, listen here. This dish right here, this is everything. There's no other way to explain it. It's creamy, it's decadent, it's delicious, it's flavorful. You have savoriness going on, but yet it's still creamy. It has that perfect balance, right? I don't even taste any spice. You have the sun-dried tomatoes and listen, this is an absolute gem of a dinner. Give it a try, my loves. Oh man, definitely use the Hellmann's mayo to add that depth of softness to the meatballs, and I'm telling you, you're not gonna go wrong. And another thing, I know there's somebody out there probably saying, can I taste the mayo in the meatballs? No, you can't. You cannot taste the mayo in the meatballs. So get yourself some mayo. It's gonna make the ultimate difference. But this dish right here, 10, not even 10, 100 out of 100. Absolutely delicious. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. cookingwithtammy.shop, of course, for all of your seasonings. Royalty Princess Gems. That's my other website. Check that on out as well. But for now, guys, I'll talk to you later.